see that another attendees are also joining one by one.
Great.
Giri sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Nizam. I can hear you well. How are you?
How are you, sir? Good, sir. Good. Very good. We
Very well.
have Balaji and we have also Neeraj, the other
Hi,
panelists
Girish.
who joined with you.
Hey, hi Balaji. Hi
Hi,
Neeraj.
Girish. Hi, Girish.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
So we can get started. What I'll do is I'll kind of introduce everyone quickly. I'll not take a lot of time giving the introduction. And I'll also see. I am also seeing a lot of attendees getting joined one by one. Hi everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Nizam. I am part of Tulai team, and I'm so happy to see you all joining us today to discuss about this COVID and how this is affecting or how the NBFC is going to react to it after the COVID period, etc. And we have an amazing panelists joined with us to discuss about what is their point of view in terms of the COVID, whether it is an opportunity or whether it is a problem, and how are they solving it, what are the changes that they're bringing into organization, etc., etc. So without wasting a lot of time, I'll quickly give an introduction about the panelists that we have for today. And then I'll pass the stage to rest of the panelists and they'll share their views. So to give an introduction, we have Mr. Balaji from Chennai. He has an amazing long 22 years of experience in business process automation. And he has designed and implemented a lot of internal solutions like BI, etc., and also worked with a lot of governance and risk control activities. Then we have Mr. Girish, and he is coming from another very long experience. He worked with a lot of Fortune 500 companies. He worked with Genpact, Deloitte, Accenture, KPMG, Infosys, and worked well on the digitalization part, and also another mentor for me as well. I'm so happy and thankful to him for joining here, and he has helped me in terms of building a product or even giving us a shaping a product in a better stage. So we have Mr. Girish. Then we have also Neeraj. So Neeraj is also coming from a very long experience from a banking and corporate sector. She has an experience of 13 years of diverse experience in finance and accounts. And instead of again going in detail, I'll leave it to them. It's be better that they talk about themselves and get into the actual objective of our call for today. So yeah, so over to you, Mr. Balaji. If you could quickly tell us what you're doing,
Sure.
how is this COVID affecting you, and something about
Sure.
the organization. That will be a great to hear for the audience.
Sure. Uh, Good evening, good afternoon, audience. Thanks a lot for this opportunity. Thanks for the Tulip team. Thanks for Nizam, and thanks for the panel members, and a big thank for all the participants who are spending this time here. Let's make it useful for this next 1 hour. Myself, Balaji, having 23 years of expertise in various domains. Presently, I'm working in a company called Orange Retail Finance. We are a non-banking finance company, 5 years old. Predominantly, we are headquartered in Chennai, but our core strength is we are a digital rural player. So that is our strength right now. So we are having around 100 plus branches. There are 1,800 plus employees with us. We are a completely a digital product with a traditional touch with us. We are only doing two-wheelers, and for the two-wheeler customers, we give a top-up loan, a cash top-up loan. So this is a product we do right now, and we predominantly operate only in tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities, covering entire South India. So we're operating in Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Kerala, Karnataka, Telangana, and Pondicherry. So this is about the company. And if you talk about this crisis situation, COVID, so what has happened is whichever we created as a business continuity plan has become a business as usual. So now there is no difference between a BCP and a BIU right now. So whatever we created as a BCP, it's a BIU right now. That's how we are right now. The core principle, since we are a kind of a new startup. Our core principle is with a fintech touch. So everything is with a kind of a cloud-based approach. So what you have done is everything. Our digital journey was through a cloud digitization automation process. So we never had much challenges during this COVID when it started. The challenge was only kind of a logistic challenges which we had, where we need to just give a kind of a data card to every user. They can use the one because everything is in a cloud. So we never had any challenges. We never had. We told them to start using their own mobile internet itself. Not much of a challenge. Everything was as usual from the day one. So that's how we are going. I'll give to the other panelists as it progress. I'll keep sharing more and more stories of us. Yeah, please. Thank you. Thank
Wonderful,
you, Nizam. Yeah.
wonderful. So Giri sir, we'll be happy to hear from you in terms of what do you think. And SK is a name that most of the NBFCs are very aware of. It's been there in the news and doing wonderful in terms of the business. So what do you think about this COVID period? What are your priorities post COVID? And if you could also talk about the organization and your background, that would be a great help for the audiences.
Sure, sure. So thanks, Nizam. Um, I think the one thing which is practically given for every NBFC in terms of priority is the liquidity. So everybody is working very hard and how to manage liquidities from both the terms, getting the liquidity from the lenders and also getting the collections from the customers. I think that's given. So I will not focus largely on that because that's where the COVID has impacted everyone, and everybody is having different kind of strategies how to manage it for their customer base. Things are improving, of course. Last couple of weeks we've seen there's an improvement and good signs are coming up. But from the other side, if you talk about, I think largely when you see from a digital front, and that starts from how exactly the customer behaviors are happening into the market, and that's where you see there is a much change which has happened right on the ground. So we have been talking that specifically customers who are based in tier 2, tier 3 cities, their digital footprint has increased very, very significantly. And I think that's where there is a good light which we see end of the tunnel, because earlier as a digital team member, we always think that how we can build our stuff which is usable for the end users, for our customers and for our clients as well. And what has happened in last couple of months is the usage, the adaptability has increased very, very significantly. The amount of time which people used to spend on a mobile phone, on the internet has increased very, very significantly. Their adoption in terms of usage of mobile apps, usage of automated technologies, usage of digital payments, that's where we've seen a very, very significant improvement. People who have never used, let's say, any mobile app for digital payment, they always used to handle cash. Those people are now making payments through mobile apps using UPIs and other stuff. So that's a very good sign. And that's where I feel that a lot of ways of working in terms of changes for NBFCs and for other industries also required. Uh, because earlier, when you see the customers, there is always one-to-one relationship. So if there is a company and there is a customer at the end, that customer knows the company and we know the customer, and that's it, right? Let's say if you have one happy customer, it remains there. Even if you have one unhappy customer, it remains there. But now with all the
Yeah.
digital footprint coming up, it's actually turning up into a network.
So do you
And
think
I think
because of the
that's where
digital
all of us,
customer is sorry,
because of
sorry,
the
I was
digital
I
customer. So
just
let's
wanted to
say
yeah, digital customer, yeah.
digital customer, right? So, for example, now most of your customer are connected through on your Facebook page. And now, if one customer is putting up a good comment, other customer knows it then and there. If one customer is putting up a negative comment, the others knows it then and there, right? So that's where I think it's from a one-to-one relationship, it is very significantly turning up into a network, and that's where we see a lot of opportunities.
Understood.
So if companies have started putting good care of the customers and right customer service, right services been provided at the branch level, and customers are converting into digital, it's very, very easy to acquire new customers going forward. So I think that's the positive sign in terms of going forward. by using design thinking methodologies, we understand customers' behavior really well, because that's where I spend a lot of time. I speak to customers directly and see how their digital behaviors are changing in terms of
Understood.
specifically the internet usage and apps usage. And there is significant improvement over there.
Understood. Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Neeraj, what do you think about? I mean, this is a very important point. The customers are becoming more digital. They are getting access to your sales team, your support team digitally. They are using more of softwares and mobile phones. So, is it a positive sign? Is it a negative sign? So, this is like when people become more digital, then they will expect to uh, things happen quickly. If something is happening in 7 days, they now want it things to happen in 3 days or 2 days or one day. So how was your scenario? How are you seeing this as a whether this is an opportunity for you? Is your audience available in digital? How are you taking this in positive back to your company for implementing a better digitalization or a workflow like that? So if you could share some views, that would be a great help. Yeah.
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I just, first of all, thank you, Tulik, for giving us the opportunity to speak up about this topic, because it's quite a relevant topic. And Girish sir has very beautifully explained that how digitally, I mean, people are using nowadays the things, the services which were earlier was possible only through making a physical contact or visiting a bank or NBFC office and like that, right? But as of now, as I earlier discussed also with Balaji sir, that our NBFC deals with the lower middle class families, right? Our targeted customer base, we I want to explain this topic in two different scenarios. The one from my customer point of view and another from my office or my employees point of view, right? If I talk about digital things, our employees or our office that is well equipped with, and we are just following these digital methods. Maybe we are using through it apps, or maybe we have created some web portals where we can have the activities connected through different employees, and these employees through these web portals they are just providing their productivities, and whatever the different services are there we are giving to the customers, they are being monitored through these digital ways. So, and our if I talk about my ERP, or if I talk about our the loan origination system or loan management system, these all are being beautifully managed through digital ways. But as far as my targeted customer is concerned, that is not a digitally updated. They are means they belong to lower middle class family, and they are just now not up to that techno savvy world. They are just trying to have the services through physical contact only. But as far as I think the present scenario is concerned, so it is giving birth to the digitalization of the entire office structure as well as the activities and the systems. So I think this is giving a good space and good opportunities. I mean, I think COVID-19 is a blessing in disguise, and it is giving more opportunity to the digital people, uh, in fact the users as well as the persons who are providing these digital services through different products or maybe through different modes. So it's a very good scenario coming together for I think going the things good and in a better way. And
Absolutely.
in fact
Absolutely.
in very less time frame.
Understood. And I hope this is also opportunity for the startups to engage with NBFCs,
Yes,
because
exactly.
you will be looking at a lot of digitalization ways. So maybe let's say
Mm.
automations and AIs, facial recognition. There are a lot of startups who's looking for opportunities to work. And digitalization is a core piece of organizations where they take a lot of time. They take time to decide whether I should do it or not. So this has come to a place wherein we have to take a call. We have to bring in some extra measures to increase the customer satisfaction, to reduce the churn, to reduce the to make the employees safer and happier in the workplace, etc. So I think this also becomes an opportunity for startups to come and engage with NBFCs. So I would also kind of ask, would like to ask you in this scenario, like this is a very interesting point which Neeraj has mentioned. So how do you see this? So Mr. Balaji was also mentioning that your employees who went out of Chennai is not able to come back to Chennai now because there is a problem, they can't enter to Chennai now. So how are you managing your employees right now? How are you managing their productivity? How are you making them happy? Or are they able to work from home? Are they able to make calls, interact with customers digitally? So what is your thought in terms of getting a team to work in this COVID scenario? And what are you doing to overcome these problems in this COVID situation?
Nizam, this question is to Neeraj or to myself?
To you only, because you are facing that literally in Chennai. Your
Yeah,
team is
fine.
not in Chennai, so
Correct, correct,
there is a
correct. Yeah,
problem. And
yeah.
Giri sir is also
True,
having his
true,
team in
true, true.
multiple locations
Very true,
where
very
it is
true. Yeah,
partially
yeah.
active. Yeah,
Correct, correct.
yeah.
So what we did is, since I told you we are a two-wheeler company, and I'm having almost 1.5 lakh customer base. See, for the past 2.5 months, there is no sale, literally zero sale, because the dealers, outlet, showrooms, everything is closed. The option which is left is only the collection piece. And
Mm-hmm.
challenging is RBI has declared a moratorium on top of it, where moratorium is very difficult even for anybody to understand what it is. That from a rural front to explaining them, it's a kind of a nightmare. And the
Yes,
challenge
yeah.
is, if they are not paying a moratorium, once again, there's interest component is added to them, which they'll get penalized for it. Okay, where my
Okay,
customer
understood.
base is kind of a lower middle class or middle class, where my EMI is only 3,500 rupees max, okay, or 4,000 rupees. If they're not paying it, there will be interest for 3 months. Okay, so we need to explain all this. And then we are early adopters of most of the technologies. Like we also have a cash component, and we are early adopters of Vnash, early adopters of all these payment gateway channels. Okay, online payment, everything was there. So we are already equipped with all this. So that's what I'm trying to say. So already all these
That's a
digital
good thing.
channels was already there, and there are around 800 collection team was already there in place. And I
Understood,
had a sales
understood.
team of another 800 plus. There are 1,600 people who are only into the field level executives, even though there's a digital piece for me, where digital was already going 30-40% for me. So
So you're
what
saying that you
this,
were able to move this offline to complete
that's
digital?
what
Is that
I'll
what you're
come.
trying to say?
That's what I'll come now. See,
Okay.
this 2 months, what has happened is, I need to build a kind of a frictionless journey to the customer for only the
Uh-huh.
collection piece. Okay, and I cannot travel to any of the place. Nobody can travel. Customer is also not willing to see anybody. So this 2 months, what we did is, it's a completely digital, 100% digital collection only. And the
Okay.
best
Okay.
part is, all this 1,600 team, even my sales team was fully deployed to collection. They are only doing collection. Okay, so we
Okay.
did a kind
Okay.
of a
Okay.
empathy driven calling to every single customer. We touch based every single customer. We have spoken to every single customer, asked how they were living this COVID, how they are coping up. We have given us such a, it's a kind of a personal touch relationship has been made with the customer. And then we started sharing through WhatsApp how to do the digital payment. If you're having fine Paytm or a Google Pay or whichever it is online, we've been sharing a SMS link to them. Just click it, one touch click, how can they do the payment? Whichever mode, internet bank, whatever they have as a digital, they can do the payment. So the platform, everything was already ready. We are doing it. Okay, now only thing, with all this cash based customer, we can connect with them and expand them more and more. And it was kind of a completely empathy driven calling. So what has helped us is, it has increased in collection efficiency for me. Okay.
Understood. Your job is less now. Yeah. Things have gone
But-
digital.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, since it's gone digital, and my collection efficiency, because being in a finance NBFC role, we need to bring the operational efficiency cost drastically lower, because everybody is getting fund and that fund is getting deployed. We are all into that kind of a business. Okay, that is one very good learning we had, kind of how we can able to have a frictionless journey with the customer with less face-to-face integration, kind of a journey for this 2 months. We need to see how this model is getting evolved once this COVID situation getting eased up. We need to really understand how is it, whether this will take time, or whether once again we need to back to kind of a fully physical based operation. But our study is this digital journey is here to stay for quite long. As a customer got accustomed to it, and they are very happy and easy to do the transaction. So that's the journey which we have right now. And you asked touch
Understood.
based about employees, how we are coping up and all.
Yeah.
Like if you see the employee, like we need to start creating a kind of a resilient culture. So this has helped us right now to create a resilient culture. Already our email or everything is in cloud based, and we took this Zoom also for us, and Hangout Meet also. Every single functional head started having the interaction on every single day. They never missed anybody. We started giving lots
Nice.
and lots of hope. Okay, like because we are hearing of a lot of news about job loss, or a kind of a salary cut and all. But we want to be with this team always, so we've been giving lots and lots of hope for them. So that is how we've been building ourselves.
I think that is exactly the point that every employee will be looking forward to, because they have worked hard for your organization, and they're actually keeping that trust on you, and if that you're able to bring that into the front of your organization, saying that, okay, you are a family, and we will do this, we will face this together. And that exactly is something that we can say that, okay, this is going to reduce the stress. So Giri sir, from your thought, from your point of view, how are you really getting this employee stress, making people to work from home. There is also another point where people are keeping the data, customer data, with them. So how are you even ensuring the security of their data? So how are you managing your employee satisfaction, stress management, all that from an SK point of view?
So I think this was a tough situation, right? Because first thing what has happened is the job role of the employees have got drastically changed overnight. As Balaji mentioned, that the entire sales team has been deployed to do collections. They were doing in a bit of pieces earlier. In every company they do it, but becoming a primary job is drastic change. And similarly, the backend teams, whoever sits there, they also started spending a lot more time in managing collections rather than doing it the job, because business was almost put on pause during this period. So I think the things which have helped, things I think which I've seen also in the market, a lot of people have done also. Number one is having like a single KPI or very minimal KPI where you monitor and give tasks to a team to do. Because if you started giving a lot more actions and a lot more KPIs to the ground level team, it's very hard to get the outcome from that. So it has to be very simple.
Understood.
So I think the allocation makes a lot of difference, that which customer, what exactly you need to manage on the ground, and for how many customers you are the only relationship manager. You have to
Okay. Okay.
manage their queries, because as moratorium came, a lot of queries have came up as well. Initially, there was a lot of confusion customers had. And second thing is telling them that making a payment, how it will help, and if you don't make payments right now, how it will actually going to impact them at the end of the day. And then second thing is enabling them also doing the digital payments. So in a
Okay.
frictionless way,
Okay.
Balaji has used it. So I think first of all, giving the right set of KPIs, then cross training really, really helped. So they put a lot of efforts in terms of training employees, what they do and how they can manage things on the ground. And number three is also giving them a very minimal set of customers. That's where they have to work, and they have to act exactly like a relationship manager and not as a
Understood.
collection follow-up guy. So I think these three, four things really helped at the ground to keep the momentum and keep the morale high for the employees.
Understood. Understood. And also from a data security point of view, what are your thoughts? Are you really concerned about it, or you've already taken measures to take care of the data security, or what are your thoughts?
See, this is a big subject, and
Okay.
I think whatever effort you do on data security, you still feel those are less, and you keep evolving that.
Understood. Understood.
So from an internal data security perspective, there is all the measures which have been taken, that only the limited amount of data which is used to manage a customer relationship, that is being shared with the right kind of people, and everything else is in a summary way and shared only with the people who are required to use it. So I think those all has been taken care. The point which I would like to cover from a macro perspective, I think couple of things which we should all of us should put in mind. Number one is, I think what I feel is government is now putting up their eye in terms of how the internet and the social media and all those things needs to work in every country. So what I
Mhm.
feel is that there could be a regulations which might come out on the internet usage, on social media usage, maybe guidelines will come out. So that will impact everybody, including NBFC. So I think that is something which everybody needs to take care that how it will eventually impact the data security perspective. And number two is the usage of personal data. I think this has been taken very, very seriously in all the developed countries, but this needs to be taken up more seriously in India. I think we talk about it quite a lot, but still we see that personal data is not given as much as important as you see in the Western world. So I think that is becoming a very, very important when more people are coming into the digital wave. And that's where a lot of work required that how we keep each and every customer data with us, which is fully secured, and they are confident that if I'm sharing my data is stored with them, it will never get utilized, which is not supposed to be. Right? So I think that's where everybody needs to put a lot more effort moving forward. Um, that's my take on data
Understood.
security, right? In terms of
Understood.
next wave.
Understood. Understood. Thank you so much, sir. To the audience, to the attendees, if you have some questions, you can raise your
Okay.
hand or you can drop a
I
question
think they're
here in the
raising
chat
the
box.
hand. I think it's some
Yeah,
people are
I'm
raising the
seeing
hands. Yeah.
Charadatta. Charadatta, I've allowed you to talk. You can unmute. You can speak. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Um, Charadatta, can you unmute and ask your question? Yeah, I see I lost
No,
him.
I lost. Yeah.
Okay, I think he got disconnected. So Neeraj, what do you think? What I mean, the same topic. I would like to hear from you also. What are the steps that are taken from your organization to handle all this? And how are you making sure that the employees are happier? Employees are working happily from their home, and how are you tackling all the situations? So if you could share your thoughts, that would be great.
Yes, sure. Actually, we believe in that our human assets, they are the most productive and they are the only assets which can bring other assets productive. So if my human assets, they are happy, they are satisfied, they are not having any kind of, mental burden in terms of job securities or financial securities, we cannot move forward. Should be
Understood. Understood. So you're
satisfied enough.
making sure that the employees are given with the financial
Sure.
security so that yeah.
Yes, yes. Look, we have both kind of teams, sales teams, the field staff as well as the backend staffs. So backend staff, they are managing their operations very well from their respective homes, and whatever collection part or maybe the other accounting part, they are being taken care of from their homes, and and as far as the data is concerned, then that is purely secured because as Girish sir and Balaji sir has mentioned that through cloud we can maintain and we can manage our data security perfectly, right? If we are maintaining the firewalls in house at our server, as well as we have created VPN to assess, to make our employees access these softwares or the other informations from our server, then it is much more safer than the any other mode, right? And as far as
Understood.
the field staff is concerned, because due to COVID-19, it's not very safe for the employees to visit, and there are some restricted areas where staff cannot visit because of the containment zones and all. And for the safety and security of our team members, we devised a method where our team members, they are just making calls to the customers for reminding them that yes, your EMI is getting due, or you have to make payment. You can make payment in parts. You are not supposed to make payment in one go. If you are having 1,000 rupees, you can pay us right now, and you can pay in tranches, right? And we are in fact the staff is also making, and if some customer is ready to pay, then we are making them to pay through cash, or maybe through UPI, or maybe Google Pay, or maybe other method, because I already told you that they don't having net banking, or they are not having advanced digital methods to make the payments. Means,
Understood.
yes, they are just making us aware of this thing, that they need to pay in cash. Then our staff took all the precautions very precisely, and they just visit the customer to collect that cash. And accordingly we have managed such way, and our staff is managing this way. And at the same time, as sir has mentioned, that we did not have any pay cut for these staff members, and we are maintaining a staff of around 100 plus employees. And even my parent company, because we have group of companies, 3 4 companies are working under it. So in all the companies we have made full payment to the employees for the salaries. Because if in this difficult time we are not supporting our employees in terms of their financial needs, then that means ki when the businesses they are in the boom, right? We at that time we don't think of making something in addition to salary, right? If in that case we don't think in this way, so in case if the business is in lower side at this point of time, so we should not think this way, that we should not pay to the staff members, we should not pay them, right? So we just give them financial security by paying them salaries on time. And at the same time, if certain other things we can offer them, in terms of if any of the family members they are not feeling good, and we can offer them the medical facilities and other things. We have given them medical insurances, we have given them term insurances, and we have even asked our group medical insurance company to include this COVID treatment as well.
Okay, nice.
I think we have given an assurance to our employees that yes, your company is with you, and you need not to be very be in a stress or in a tension, that yes, because we have learned so many things, that there are job cuts, there are many employees are being laid off. So these kind of things are not being in the minds of our employees, and they are being satisfied. And at the same time, sir, uh, we are just making our customers feel comfortable in the way that instead of availing moratorium, they just make the repayment in tranches, so that the additional interest burden should not be on them, because they are already from a lower middle class family. They are just having the limited resources, and they on the basis of those limited resources they have just met out their needs, right? So on that front we just ask them, and we just make them convince our team members. They are just making counseling with them, that yes, do you don't avail moratorium, but you have the chance to pay your EMIs in tranches. So our most of the customers, they believed it, and they have just started making the repayments in small installments. If the installment is of 6,000 rupees, they are just paying 2,000 rupees, and then in another week 2,000 rupees, because sir, there is a financial burden on these people as well. Like us, there is a financial burden on them. And at the same time we need to make our recoveries as well, because we don't want our NPA levels or delinquencies to go up. So in that way we are just convincing our customers in a better way, so that they should not be at a loss, and there is a win-win situation for our company as well as for the customers, and at the same time our employees as well.
Makes a lot of sense. I think one is financial security, and second is healthcare, which are two things that you can promise them. And good to see that you've also given
we have not promised, rather I need to add this thing, that we didn't promise this thing. We have actually done this for our employees actually.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And one more thing, sir has mentioned regarding the personal data. So I think, sir, we all have heard about the artificial intelligence, right? So I think on the basis of that very personal data of the customers, we can use that artificial intelligence technique to devise certain methods or new products which may be more useful for the customers or maybe more, productive for them and for the companies as well, NBFCs as well, because there are many underlying areas, sir, which haven't touched yet. So with those, because I heard about a venture that started in Canada 3-4 years back. I think you people might heard of it. That um, there are certain persons who don't have any, credit background.
Okay.
Their
Okay.
credit score is zero, or their credit, if we check the CIBIL score or maybe the high mark score, any of the credit agency score, so their score is zero because they don't have any credit background. But at the same time, they have the regular liquidity in their hands, because their main transactions, they are in cash only, and they don't have banking habits, they don't have any borrowing, experience in the previous stream. So on the basis of their personal data, uh, by using one of the artificial intelligence techniques, they have devised that there are certain people who can easily repay the loans for their business purposes. So in that case, I think they did it, and they got success in this, that their delinquency ratio was in fact below 1%. And the customers who are not having any kind of credit score, they were given loans, and their repayment was perfectly fine, they're perfectly good, right?
Interesting.
Delinquency was
Interesting.
below 1%. So that means that on the basis of this personal data of the customers, we can devise new products and new techniques to help them to raise their standard of living and to raise another bars. So I think this is a very good thing if we use it in a good and productive manner.
Understood. Understood. And there is a question to Mr. Balaji, but I would like to ask this question to everyone. What are the digital platforms that has been currently used in your organization? But and I would like to maybe add some more thing to it. Like, what are the digital platforms that are really helping you at this COVID situation? And the second is, what are the, and this is also broadcasted to our YouTube and other channels. So, and this will be, this is recorded and this will be sent to the other attendees as well. So I would like to also ask on behalf of them, what are the tools or platforms that they're looking to work with, or look forward to try and see whether that is going to help? So this two questions, if everybody can answer, that will be helpful. And I'll start with Balaji.
Yeah. Thank you. Before getting to what kind of tools or what kind of thing, I would just tell three things for the panelist and for everybody, for the audience. First thing is how to gain the confidence. How to gain the confidence. Okay. First thing is, do whatever you're not done. Personally, for anybody, do whatever you're not done.
Okay.
Yeah. Second thing is, use your maturity to find the solutions. Okay. And presently our beginning is much better than anybody's beginning in the digital platform. Somebody would have tried already many solutions. Okay. So our beginning is much better than anybody's beginning. So whatever solutions comes digitally, technologically, I would say use your maturity to find the solution and go ahead with it. If you're waiting for all the signal to turn green, you cannot start the journey. This was the philosophy exactly for us to take the digital journey with us. Okay. So we took one thing at a time. Because we believe our beginning is much better. Somebody would already tried it. Okay. Even though it's a fresh start, a fresh thing is already tried. Fine. Let's go at the journey, because the thing is, the choices are in our control. Okay. But the consequences are not in our control. So the choices are in our control. Based on the philosophy we went at, I'll tell you what are things we have done it. First thing is digital onboarding completely itself. So what we did is we took a in-house team. We started developing our entire mobile app for customer onboarding. All the tools are developed in-house, but in-house doesn't have that capability also to do many things. So what you have done is we have chosen the best of breed from a fintech for everything, and we started integrating. So there's a huge API in my ecosystem which talks with various third parties. For example, while I'm doing a digital onboarding, I capture the customer information. Immediately I can able to validate everything. If I capture any of your informations, all validations happens through online. Even if I capture a mobile number, I know your address, everything. If I capture your any detail like CKYC or gap, whatever information you give, I can able to validate you online immediate. This has helped us to reduce the turnaround time because
Mhm.
the validity of the customer is established. Second thing is we are the only guy who take a video of a customer doing onboarding stage immediately, and my mobile app has been designed in such a way it can work only in certain geos because my executives sit at certain strategical locations where it is fenced. Geo fencing is that he cannot even use about 200 meters. So I'm establishing my customer support executives every day present in the exact location on every single day. Okay, because I'm operating different locations. Okay, I'm touch basing almost 5,000 pin codes, so I don't even know my employees are there or not. So what we've done is we've geo fenced our entire application. My app itself will work only if my executives go exactly to that location, do the digital onboarding activity. That means my guy has seen the customer, taking video, photo, KYCs, captured everything, online validation happens, everything. I eliminate all the process credit. Everything has been automated with various ecosystems and all. Immediate call goes, and I was integrated with the payment gateway. So max within half an hour I can transfer the money if I talk to a customer. So we have made it like this. So it's just a complete ecosystem built with Java Innos, but various integrations with various fintech players we have done it. So that is how it's onboarding. So LMS is completely our own piece. There is not much of APIs, but in onboarding activity we've done various APIs integration. Similar thing with collection, we have collection app also getting integrated with various ecosystem players, various fintech players. We have done it. So it's just a completely like a frictionless journey. We built the product. It's tested, proven. We are using it for almost 2+ years with almost 2,000 employees right now. So we onboarded almost 1,500 employees. Once you open the tab, we can do it. Because of the COVID situation, we have not done for this 3 months for new onboarding activity, but collections are going on. Our business will be as usual by in a week's time or 2 weeks time once the COVID gets eased up.
Good to see that you're actually
Since
using
being
a
in a
lot of
public forum, I can't
available
able to
APIs.
name
Yeah,
any of that fintech
no
players.
problem.
Sorry about
No,
it.
but the
Anybody needs,
the
I can able to tell it in a private forum, not an issue.
no problem. So no, what is interesting is that you're making use of all the available APIs,
Exactly,
which
exactly.
is something that me and Girisa used to talk about most of the time. How I can
Because one guy
use the
can't build
available
everything.
data.
So
Yeah,
use a best
yeah,
of
true,
breed from everybody. Okay,
true,
and
true.
then start using that. You just start leveraging a platform with every single tool you available. Yeah.
Sure. And Girisa, from your point of view, what are the other interesting things that you are planning to try for the sake of all this digital transformation, this COVID period? What are the tools? What are the ideas that you have in your mind to go and try in the upcoming days or months, or something that you're already trying? Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think, Nizam, I'll just put it a little bit generic term.
Sure.
So in my view, as Balaji rightly mentioned, APIs plays an important role. And I'll put three more things on top of it. I think number two is bots. That's something I think is all of us should look upon. Bots with AI capabilities can really help a lot. It can save a lot of effort which you put on customer service. It can work on local languages. It can work on voice. So that is something which should be on priority as because customer digital journeys are increasing. Their footprints on digital front is increasing, and they are also expecting same level of support from companies like us, specifically like 24/7 support in the language which they want, so on and so forth. So if you do all these things set up in a practical way by putting human resources, the cost is always too high. And it's very hard to provide 24/7 support as well. So I think
Understood.
bots with AI capability could really help us a lot. from customer perspective as well as from employee perspective. Let's say there is a lot of work which an employee has to be done, or a manager needs to be tell to the employee that what he needs to be do by reading up the data. Why can't all that work being done by the bot? Nizam, you and me have discussed it a couple of times earlier
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
So I think that could really help a lot. That not only from a customer interaction perspective, but also from employee versus manager perspective, how bots can help.
Understood.
Then number three, which I would cover is, and Neeraj, you rightly told about power of data. I think everybody should treat their data as an asset, because when you start reading your data, the footprint of the customer, their behaviors, their demographic data, personal data, because when we disperse a loan and when we collect money from the customer, there's a lot of data which we generate and we capture in our systems. And I think that's what is becoming a asset really these days. So leveraging a data and then going back with the data driven approach to the customer, with the offers and with the loans and with different bundlings, I think that could really help. And at the back end, I would like to give one more term, which is competition. So I think today's world is going not only alone, but also going with many partners together. And what I have seen across the globe happening is that competitors are coming together and then they are generating values for their customers. So if you have X strength and other competitor of yours have Y strength, the competition is the right word, where both of us taking their strengths together and giving value to their customer base. Um, so when you Google it, I think there is a lot of information which is available on this. So I think I would call it a word that, along with digital technologies, um, you should actually take the right partnership along with you as well. And it's not only partnership with startups and digital players. There could be a partnership with your competitions as well, and then you can create more value for the customer. And apart from that, from an operational perspective, I think there is also a lot of changes which is happening, because people are getting comfortable with mobile phones and apps, but still there is, we can see frictions when you ask people to fill up long forms and fill up descriptions, specifically apps which work in English languages and all. There is rural based employees and customer always have a little bit problem with that. So how can you change the way you capture the data from the customer? And Balaji, you rightly said, like, you started capturing videos on your app. I think videos are a great thing to capture the details about your customers and the employees, what they want to tell about the customers. Audios could play a lot of important role as well going forward. And of course, using AI capabilities, you can turn those audios and videos into a text format, which can be analyzed in a later way. I think those are the things which one should look upon, and those can create a lot of values in future. And Nizam, you are also working a lot of things, and we are trying to leverage it together. But I think that's where the world is heading, and even in India, if we can do some of those things which employees and customers who are available in rural part of the India, I think that can generate a humongous value.
Exactly.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's an interesting point where Grisa, you mentioned partnership is a very amazing word. That is something that we all can explore, even NBFCs, even startups like us. We could probably think them as a competitor, but they are not really a competitor. We can find opportunities to probably create
Yeah,
a
yeah.
win-and-win scenario. So that is very good for even the NBFCs or startups who's listening to us on this. Um, Saying that explore opportunities where you can partner with your competitor, and this can only not. I mean, you're not killing the competition there. Rather, you're creating another opportunity by partnering with, partnering with your competitor. So thank you so much for bringing that point. I think it is also a light for me. So yeah,
Yeah,
and
exactly. And I can give you an
Neeraj,
example, right? I think all
yeah,
of us might know about it, but for the audience perspective, all of us know that Apple and Samsung are hardcore competitors across the globe. But still, there is one part which Apple buys from Samsung, which are chips, right? So even at
uh-huh.
the front end, you are a hardcore competitors. At back end, for some of the capabilities, you are tying your hands together.
True,
So
true, absolutely, absolutely. Understood. Understood. And Neeraj, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the tools, and what are you planning to onboard? Are you looking at any startups to work with in terms of, you spoke about AI, which is a very crucial point, which is an interesting point to have. So what are your thoughts on digitalization or tools, something that you built internally, working with, etc. And any wonderful points like both Balaji and Girisa mentioned. So would like to hear from you as well, Neeraj.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Actually, Balaji sir has mentioned this thing that you know whole process that should be automated, and there are many ways with which we can completely automate our processes. So, and they have created in-house you know uh, maybe application or the way to automate the entire process. Similarly, we have done this thing also, and our entire process that has been completely automated, loan orig- uh, being it be related to the loan origination system or loan management system. The entire process is through an application. That application is partly we have created in house with our team members, and with our service partner, that is I can mention the name of our service partner, that is All Cloud. They have given us the platform for loan origination system. So by using that application, our employees and the customers, I mean, for speeding up the things, as the sir has mentioned, that within 30 minutes the loan can be dispersed. So because nowadays time matters everything, sir. If
Understood.
we are
Understood.
satisfying our customers in lesser time, in less time, then I think satisfied customer, as already someone has stated in this webinar, that if a satisfied customer is you can say that a main advertising or branding uh, method or mode of your company, for the company. So I think if my satisfied customer is giving reference to another 3 or 4 customers, that means it is the biggest advantage and the biggest achievement for the company, for our NBFC. So we are just making the things very easy and very timely by using this application. And
Understood.
our all the activities, these are done through it. And at the same time creating the things through payment gateways. Maybe some of the customers, or maybe some of the other our wholesale customers, they are also interested in making the payments through payment gateway or through the other modes, digital modes, that can be done. And at the same time, sir, if I talk about, as sir has mentioned, that some customers, they don't want to use the English applications, I mean the English
Yeah.
language
Yeah.
applications. So I think there are many applications, or there should be the efforts, or maybe the startups which can bring in the more user friendly applications, easy to use, and as well as in the vernacular languages. Maybe if I belong to Punjab, so there is a Punjabi language, or we are dealing with the migrating customers, so they know Hindi language. So these applications should be in vernacular languages, so that it can be easy to use. And at the same time, long forms should not be there. The information being asked for, that should be very
Simplified.
precisely
Yeah.
designed, so that that can serve our purpose, and at the same time that should not irritate the customer. So
Understood. Understood.
these two three things that can make the process easy, simple, and at the same time less time consuming, and giving better opportunities for the customers as well as for the NBFCs.
Understood. Understood. I think a lot of valuable points in just 1 hour. Talking about digitalization, partnership, vernacular, APIs, making employees happy. I think it's a wonderful thing to hear from the experts itself, and what they are doing, etc. To the attendees, there is a small poll that is running on your screen. Please answer. There are only 3 questions. If you could answer, that will be helpful for us to improve our webinar also in future. We're also trying it to see how this can be of help to everybody in the ecosystem rather than using it for anything, branding or anything like that. But we need this to be useful. So please answer to those votes. We will also take your feedback. You can write to us. If you have any feedback, if you would like to attend or speak in any other future webinars, please let us know. So in the interest of time, I will also take one more question from Mr. Brajesh, which I can see on the screen. And the question is, what are ways apart from financial stability to boost employees morally? Like not every employee would like to use an application. And due to quick change in pattern of working, there could be stress of using applications. And how can we tackle it? So this is a question from Mr. Brajesh Singh, an interesting question and very important question. So would like to also hear from all of you quickly. We don't have much time. What are your thoughts on this question?
It's for me.
It's for all of us, all of you.
Okay, I'll take it up. Yeah, done. So first and foremost, to create an agile workplace model. So presently, kind of this workplace model is going to coexist, and then the digital workplace model is going to coexist. My employees are also going to be there. My digital is also my employee. So everyone need to understand we are going to exist as a kind of a co-creation only right now. Okay, but when you're dealing or touch basing with a bot or with a manual guy, relationship needs to come very naturally. Okay, we are creating the team here, we are creating a relationship with that guy. Okay, so one is salary, but beyond salary the relationship needs to be there. And don't tell we are a kind of a finance company. What's the core strength of your organization? Figure it out. What I tell is, I don't tell I'm a NBFC company, I tell I'm a mobility partner to my customers. So that they need to inculcate. Okay, only one thing, just think like this. What is the one thing organization cannot copy? If any digital comes, people can copy. Okay, any technology you bring in the next 1 minute or the next 1 day, the next 2 days, others can copy it. The only one thing any organization cannot copy is your culture. Okay,
Yeah,
keep your
absolutely.
culture very strong. I think then this financial stability is taken care of it once the culture has been built. So that is my submission. Instead of time, I'll give it to Girish and Neeraj. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, yeah.
Great, sir.
Sure. So I think good inputs, Balaji, and I would take this question slightly in a different way. So I think there are two ways we can think about this question. Number one, there could be some set of people who are not willing to change. So I think change is the constant. So you need to work with those team members to work on training programs and make sure that they are adopting and they are actually going at par with the company's pace of making changes. If company is going digital and introducing new technologies, new ways of working, they are going it. There could be other way around as well, that some employees are not using it because there is some problem with that particular application or particular technology. So if the frustration is coming out with the problems, I think that's what we should take it as an opportunity. So if you see employees are not using it, not because of their adaptability, but because there is something problematic in that particular application or particular technology, and because of the frustration they are not using it, I think that's what we should take it as an opportunity to improve our mobile application. It could be
Interesting. Yeah.
very difficult to use. It could be like UI is not that great. It could be the languages are not being supported. So there could be so many things which could give us actually all of us an input that what needs to be further improved to make it more usable and more friendly to the users. So I think this problem needs to be taken up in two ways, in my view.
Understood. Understood. Yeah. So I think we need to look at what is your problem when it comes to if they say no to something,
Okay,
then try to look at
keep
that no. I think that's a good point. Yeah.
keep it open and keep listening to our users what they're saying it on a daily basis. That will give a lot more scope to just develop this robust product. Just listen to them. That's the only thing we need to do it while building this kind of a app. Certainly, yeah.
Very important. Very important. And Neeraj, what are your thoughts on the same? Other than financial stability to boost employee morale. So what else do you think? How can you tackle the scenario of this change of pattern of work and to manage the stress of employees? What else do you think are important?
As the app is more user friendly, and at the same time by taking the regular feedback from the users, regarding its improvisation, I think one most important thing which we can add on here is that we can give the regular training to the employees for making them aware of using this app. And by imparting these trainings, they can be make friendly and equipped with the application. And at the same time, if they've been motivated in terms of uh, some incentives, if they are using app for feeding the data or for doing the activities, they will be incentivized. I think that will give motivation to them for using of that application.
Understood. So yeah, so it's about training. I think that is also another point which we can really think about at this in the scenario. Train to help them capable of selling more. Train them to understand your product competition better. Train them to
Yes.
also, once you're going to the back, I mean, go to the market after the COVID. Train them to make them self-sustainable, or and all those pointers that we can really
Yes,
think
sir.
about.
And
But yeah,
it should be a regular affair. It should be a regular affair. One
true,
time
absolutely.
training that should not serve the purpose.
Absolutely. So yeah, so I think a lot of inputs, lot of valuable inputs from all of you, and I myself have got a lot. I think my interest, I mean, very much interesting point out of all this is like partner with your competition. So I said I'm going to really look at that and see how can I partner with my competition, and also look at multiple other points, looking at APIs to again bring it to my platform to help our customers. So a lot of points for myself, and one thing that Neeraj mentioned about also looking at not just a financial stability, but also look at other factors of keeping the employees out of stress. So all of this are something that I'm also going to go back and relook at, and I hope all this are going to be useful for the attendees and even for the panelists who joined. It was a very fruitful, wonderful discussion. I thank everyone who joined this webinar, and special thanks to all the panelists. And like I mentioned, we just started. We will be soon coming up with more webinars, and we will come up with a lot of interesting topics like this. And look forward to see you all again. And with that, I'll stop this because I've already taken 1 hour, more than 1 hour, and I don't want to again extend this. So thanks everyone, and thanks
Thank
Balaji,
you.
thanks Teresa,
Thank you.
thanks Naresh, thanks a lot, and talk with all of you.
And sir,
Thank you.
I would like to mention that today, in today's discussion, I have learned so many things from Balaji sir and Girish sir. Thank you so much. And Nizam sir, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to join this, because if I would not be the part of this, I think, webinar, I would not have learned these things from both these dignitaries. So thank you so much.
Same here. We learned from you
Thank you.
also,
Our
Neeraj, a
pleasure.
lot.
We
Thank
learned a
you so
lot.
much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thanks for being there.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Stay
Bye.
safe.
Thanks.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.